Hi, this is Yohance Parker with The Better You. Today we're talking about belief systems. About a month ago, I had a wonderful opportunity to speak at a seminar to new sales professionals. Now, these sales professionals have been in sales for a little over a year, and so they're still excited about selling. Now, after I was speaking, one of the men that came up that was in the audience asked me if he could talk to me. And I had a few minutes before my next engagement, so I said, sure, come on, let's talk. And as we were talking, he was telling that he was really struggling in sales, and that if he continued struggling, that he was going to lose his job. So I asked him about what his experiences have been in sales and the training that he's been receiving. And he had wonderful training. He knew all the sales strategies and techniques. He knew how to open and close. He even knew how to use body language. So I asked him, well, if you know all of that in sales, why are you struggling? And then I realized that he did not believe in himself. You have to understand, even if you know all the sales strategies, even if you know all the sales techniques, if you have no belief in self, then you're always going to struggle. So once I understood that his belief system is what needed to be improved, then and only then could we start to progress his sales abilities. Now, after I left talking to him, I realized I needed to think about my belief system and what made me who I was. Why was I able to believe myself, and then therefore I was able to believe in my product, and then therefore I was able to sell the product? Well, I was sitting there, and then I thought about my belief system. When did it start? When did I really begin having a strong belief system in myself? Well, I thought about when I was in the second grade. I was sitting down, paying attention to the kids and playing and coloring, and there was a kid came up that was white. And as he came over, he looked at me right in my face, and he called me the N-word. Well, being in the second grade, I really didn't understand what the N-word was, but I did understand that the N-word wasn't my name, and it devastated me. So as I went home, I went to my mother, and I said, Mom, this kid at school called me the N-word. She looked at me with eyes full of love and said, Yohance, you're not that. You are special, and I love you. And I felt great about myself. I felt that I was special. And then I remember when I was in 7th grade where I took a test and I found out that I have a learning disability and I have dyslexia. And because of that test, they moved me to special education classrooms. Well, I felt as if I needed not to be in a special education classroom. In fact, I remember my family, we were watching The Cosby Show, and Phil said he wasn't going to go to college. Well, Dr. Huxtable said, Phil, you're going to go to college. And as soon as I heard that, I knew I wanted to go to college. So that very next day, I went to class. And I looked at my teacher and said, I want to go to college when I graduate from high school. And she looked at me and she said, Yohance, you're in special education classrooms. You're not going to be able to go to college. You should go to the Army like your mother and father. I was completely devastated by what she said to me. I said, I want to go to college. I saw Dr. Huxtable tell his son, you're going to go to college. So I wanted to go to college. And so as I went home, I had eyes full of tears. And I went to my mother and said, Mom, this is what my teacher told me. And with her eyes full of love, she looked at me and said, Yohance, she's not what you say she is. You're special. You can go to college. Man, I felt strong. I felt as if I could do anything. When my mother spoke that into my life, I believed that I could go to college. I believed I could be successful. And then after college, I had a little time to see how life was. And I had the opportunity to see how the real world was. And some of the things I learned was that there were more people who had basketball players and had rappers as role models than people who had doctors and lawyers and police officers. I found out that people looked up to those who could shoot a ball or those who could run instead of looking up to those who had education. And success was not by what people said it was, but the success was determined on what they believed, who they were. See, my belief system, it had to be sounded on what my mother and those who influenced me said. And then I had to live on that and let that be my foundation. And so when I went into sales, my belief system wasn't what other people said I was. My belief system was what I said I was. So therefore, my belief system was solid. See, when you're in sales and when you're in marketing or you're in a job where other people say, you know what, you're a salesperson, I don't believe what you're going to say. Or other people say, you know what, you're not as good as I am, so therefore, this is who you are, this is who I am. You have to realize, I am who I say I am, not what you say I am. You have to establish that belief system. And then you have to remind yourself daily with daily affirmations. I am somebody. I am special. It's not what the world says I am. It is what I say I am. I am unique. I am peculiar. When I was in sales, my success did not come from only the sales techniques and the sales strategy, but my belief system was the foundation of my success.